Ethical systems in the Sophie's Choice movie. Introduction. Utilitarianism classifies morality in the form of maximizing the anticipated utility for the benefit of all parties that are to be affected by the decision. It supports the fact that all actions are good only if they work towards the goal of enhancing the greatest good for all people. Utilitarianism resolves issues based on the principle that it is only that which produces better results for everybody or for the greatest number that is considered good. Ethical formalism, on the other hand, supports the fact that only that which is pure in motive is good. It resolves issues or dilemmas by identifying a solution that is pure and unblemished in motive. Application of utilitarianism in Sophie's movie. In the context of Sophie's movie, utilitarianism would resolve that one of the children would be killed, and Sophie would survive with the other one. Sophie is in a dilemma, and because they have been taken to a place where all their rights are deprived, especially individual rights, making a choice is inevitable. By sparing the boy, Sophie makes a better choice since the boy has a better chance of survival. Irrespective of her choice, it was imperative that she save one child for the good of society. Application of ethical formalism in Sophie's movie. In ethical formalism, what matters is not the result but the motive. Since all people have the duty to protect their children, so did Sophie, but because the situation demanded that she protect only one. Sophie was morally justified to save one child. It was also morally justified to choose the son over the daughter because the son was old and could survive in the harsh environment of the concentration camp. Debate over the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki was one of the military and political decisions in history that elicited an unprecedented debate. There have been a lot of questions as to why the United States of America opted to drop the bomb, especially at the peak end of the war, and various arguments have been floated in favor of war in opposition to the bombing. It is worth mentioning that Americans were not informed of the war or the developments leading to the events. To gain a better understanding of the bombing, it is imperative to examine the various competing views in the debate. Those who supported the bombing exercise argue that it was the only measure that could disable Japan, and the bombing could lead to the surrender of Japan. They also argue that the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki was only necessary to shorten the war and in order to save the lives of Americans. The proponents argue that the bombing was critical to ensure that the line between defeat and surrender was made clear in the context of Japan. Proponents argue that the bombing was necessary to send signals to the USSR about the imminent Soviet-American conflict. The bombing was considered a measure to guarantee leverage in future negotiations with the USSR. Those opposing the bombing argue that the United States was unethical in its actions since it demonstrated its inhuman character by justifying that the lives of the Americans were superior to those of the Japanese. They argue that the war was wrong since the lives and the safety of the people of Japan were paramount. It is also unethical to justify that a plot to save American life could be achieved by killing the Japanese population. The debate on the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki is that of ethical formalism. This is because the debate is aimed at promoting the well-being of the population and humanity. And its motive is not for the benefit of all parties. Conclusion. Ethical formalism and utilitarianism are applied towards the resolution of situational ethics and values the resulting concerns. It concerns the identification of choices and analysis of the choices based on the ethical system.